Welcome to the Chop Seat, where Braves country meets the big leagues. Your host Vic is here to break down everything from truest part to the top of the standings across the league. From walk-offs to wild trades, this is your seat for everything baseball, but a heavy dose of chop. So grab your glove and settle in, because the Chop Seat is open.
Welcome to the Chop Seat. I'm your host, Vic, and today is Tuesday, May 27th. It was a long weekend of baseball, and we're going to dive right into the action right away. We aren't playing any games. You know how we do here on the Chop Seat. And to start it off, we're going to head into our first segment.
It's time for Tomahawk Takes.
It's time for Tomahawk Takes, where we preview the previous Braves series. And this segment is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code CHOPSEAT at SeatGeek for $20 off your first purchase. Again, use code CHOPSEAT for $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. If you want to go to any concerts, games, plays, Broadway shows, whatever floats your boat, use code CHOPSEAT. So we're going to look into this series that took place over the weekend. Another disappointing series for our Atlanta Braves. I'm starting to panic now. I'm starting to press the panic button. I'm not even kidding, because you keep losing series now, and it's going to get tougher from here on out. So especially the one that's coming up, and we'll see that in the Braves forecast. But it was a series against the San Diego Padres, and the Braves end up losing 2 out of 3. The Padres, man, this is a team that's been haunting us as of late. They beat us last year in the first round. They just beat our butts. And they beat us in the first 4 games of the season, like I said in our last episode. And then we ended up losing 3 to the Dodgers. That gave us the 0-7 start. So coming into this series, we were 0-4 against the Padres. And losing this 2 out of 3, we are now 1-6. That's the end of the season series against them. We won't see these guys again unless we face off in the playoffs again. So at least that's some good news. That's some good news regarding the Padres. But I mean, after losing these two out of 3, the Braves now stand at 25-27, under 500 yet again. And like I said, it's not going to get easier from here on out for a little while. But let's look at Game 1. Game 1 was exciting because Ronald Acuna Jr., La Bestia, he was set to make his season debut after being out for a whole entire year after his ACL injury. And guess what? It was an exciting return indeed, because he homers on the first pitch that he sees. He cranked that one. Just 467 feet to left center, 115.5 miles per hour exit velo. He got all of that one. And we were able to see that great spark that he is for our Atlanta Braves. But believe it or not, that was the only run for the Braves the entire game. Coming from a guy that just got back. Again, that was the only run. Nick Pivetta was the starter for the San Diego Padres. He went 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run allowed. That was that homer again by Ronald Acuna Jr. He gave up 3 walks and 7 Ks. He now sits at a 2.72 ERA. So phenomenal game by Nick Pivetta. He has been doing his thing out in San Diego. And to counter that, it was Chris Sale. He pitched 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 6 Ks. He's now at a 3.36 ERA. And that was not a bad start from Chris Sale. Again, he pitches well enough to keep us in the game, keep the offense in the game. But when your offense is only scoring 1 run, it's not going to be enough. And that's what happened in this game. As for the Padres, they answer right back in the top of the second after Acuna hits the leadoff homer. A guy who hasn't been given a sheet, Gavin Sheets, he goes yard against Chris Sale. The lefty Sheets takes the lefty Sale to deep center. That ties the ball game. After that, both starters settle in, and it's pretty much a smooth sailing. Acuna, he gets his second hit of the season with a single to center field in the top of the third. Verdugo, he tallied 2 hits in the ballgame. Albies and Michael Harris, a second, also had a hit each. Those were the 4 hits for the game. for the Atlanta Braves. Michael Harris II, he stole a bag. That was his 9th of the season. But against Chris Sale, the Padres did threaten in the top of the 6th with El Nino, Fernando Tatis at third with 1 out, and Manny Machado at the plate. Machado, he grounds one to third base. Riley, he makes a perfect throw to the catcher, Sean Murphy, and Tatis Jr., he's gunned out, and that threat was neutralized. So it was still a close game. And also, we had a great play by Ronald Acuna Jr. in the top of the 8th. He shows his arm. He shows his talent on both sides of the field. He gets his first outfield assist of the season as he guns out the catcher, Elias Diaz, in the top of the 8th. Like I said, trying to dig out a double. And it was huge because that would have been a leadoff double to start the top of the 8th. But no, Acuna has other plans. He guns him out at second. That is the first out of the inning. But then in the top of the 9th, Machado, he redeems himself after grounding out in that top of the 6th inning. He crushes one 422 feet deep. That he hit that one to left field. There was a hanging slider, a hanging 85-mile-per-hour slider out of the hands of struggling Raisel Iglesias, our boy. Another one, guys. Another game where he gets crushed. And I don't know. Is it time for hashtag have Daysbel Hernandez close out games? What do you guys think? I think it is. Like, this already way too many times that Iglesias has gotten rocked, giving up easy runs. I think he's given up like a 5-6 homers already. It might be even more than that. That's the same amount that he gave up last year, the entire season. So obviously something is going on. Something is not right. But anyways, Snaker, he said I think he's mentioned that he's going to have him not throw the slider anymore, which you kind of should have kept that on the low because if hitters were sitting on that slider, now they're not even going to be, waiting for it. They're going to be sitting on something else, maybe his changeup or something. So you should have probably kept that to the chest, my boy. But anyways, it is what it is. It's not going to be Daysbel Hernandez time, unfortunately, because Snit lives and dies by his closers. So, buckle up, sit down. It's going to be a long ride when it comes to closing out games. But anyways, the Braves, they did have a great chance to tie or win the game. But there was a huge mistake, unfortunately, by Eli White. If you haven't seen the play, this is what happened. Eli White, he came into pitch run for Verdugo after he gets a leadoff single off of the closer, Robert Suarez. Suarez then gets Sean Murphy to ground out, and that moves Eli White to second base. Ozzie, he then comes up, and this is where the madness begins. He singles on a line drive to center field. Jackson Merrill out in center field. Eli White, he's heading to third. Then he sees a third base coach Matt Suasosopo with his hands up, telling him to stop. He wasn't pointing at the bag. I get he wasn't pointing at the bag, but he had his hands up, telling him to stop. And then for some reason, Eli White decides to head back to second base. Jackson Merrill, he was throwing the ball in. Luis Arias cuts it off. He comes running from first towards the pitcher's mound. He cuts it off. He throws the ball to second. Eli White is gunned out. The ultimate rally killer, the ultimate momentum killer. It could have been first and third with 1 out, or tie ball game, a run on first with 1 out. But no, instead it was 2 outs, runner on first, and you're still down 2-1. Again, a big momentum killer. Eli White, after the game, he reportedly said he simply just got confused. He said he got a good read on it, but he just didn't trust it, and he got confused. It was a really bad, costly move, and that was how the Braves lost game 1. Michael Harris, he did have a great at-bat following up that Ozzie single. He was fouling off pitches, but after 7 pitches on the 8th pitch, he grounds out. And again, that's the ball game. The Braves lose this one 2-1. Final score, a tight one where they could have came out and stole that one at home against a team that's been, again, haunting you the entire season, beating you up left and right. You got a good chance to do it, and you don't take advantage of it. And then we move on to game 2. Game 2, it was a good one. It was all Braves in this one. It was a 7-1 final score. Michael King, he was scheduled to start this one for the Padres, but he was scratched about 20 minutes before. I believe he's now on the IL. And it was Sean Reynolds who ended up starting this one for the Padres. This was his first career start. He went 2 2/3, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, no walks, and 1 strikeout. And for the Braves, it was Grant Holmes again, another great quality start by a starter. 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run. That one was earned, and 6 strikeouts. He now has a 3.68 ERA. And Sean Reynolds, he in the bottom of the second, he hits Verdugo with a pitch. Verdugo then goes to third. Nick Allen singles on a slow roll to the third. Machado let it roll to see if it went foul, but it ends up hitting the third base bag and it stays fair. That allows Verdugo to score. That was 1-0 Braves. That was it for the Braves for this half inning. And on top of the third, the Padres again, they answer right back. Brandon Lockridge, he's hit by a pitch to open the inning, just like Verdugo was the previous half inning. He later steals second and is driven in by Manny Machado's single to center field. That ties the ball game up 1-1. In the bottom of the third, the Braves scored 2 of their own. Matty O with a homer to left center field. That was his 12th of the season. And then Wandy Peralta, he then comes in relief. And Austin Riley, he doubles. That's his 9th of the season. And after that, Alex Verdugo, he singles. Ozzie Albies scores. Riley with an infield single to third base. Bottom of the 6th, Ronald Acuna Jr., La Bestia, he hits his 2nd homer of the season, a 427-foot bomb on a 70-mile-per-hour sweeper from Alec Jacob. Nick Allen was on first with a walk prior to that one, so that makes the ball game 5-1. Bottom of the 7th, Braves tagged on 2 more runs with a bases-loaded single by Michael Harris II. Money Mike getting into the action. After that, Enio de los Santos and Scott Blewett, they finish off the game, coming in the 8th and 9th inning respectively, and they helped finish the Padres off in game 2. So that was a great victory for the Braves, an easy one. And this is the kind of games we need to win. When the offense shows out, we're going to win these ball games because the pitching has been holding it down for the most part, especially the starting pitching. They've been putting the offense in a position to be able to score 3-4 runs and, come away with the victory. But again, if the offense is only giving you 1-2 runs, it's not going to be enough. And they got to start clicking when it comes offensively. But that was it for game 2 of the series. That was Saturday's game. And then we went on to Sunday. That was game 3. It was a 4:10 p.m. start time. The Padres, they win this one by a final score of 5-3. It was started by Dylan Cease for the Padres. He won 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. Those 3 earned, 1 walk, and 8 Ks. He now has a 4.58 ERA. And Spencer Schwellenbach, once again, another great start by the starters. He went 7 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, but only 2 of those earned, no walks, and 11 strikeouts, 3.42 ERA for him. And this is how it started. In the top of the first, Padres, they score 1 thanks to a Manny Machado double and a Jackson Merrill single. That makes it 1-0. Bottom second, Braves, they tie it up with an Ozzie Albies double that plates Austin Riley. And in the bottom of the 5th, the Braves, they take the lead on a sac fly from Nick Allen and then a wild pitch that scores Ozzie after he doubled earlier in the inning. So that gave the Braves a 3-1 lead. But then Gavin Sheets, again, he's hot. He hits his 10th homer. That was a 2-run homer, and that ties the ball game up 3-3. Top of the 7th, Jake Cronenworth, he homers. That makes it 4-3. And in the top of the 8th, Manny Machado, another one for him. He homers. That's a 5-3 score. That's your ball game. The Padres, they end up hitting homers in consecutive innings, the 6th, 7th, and the 8th inning. And that's how they win the series. It was, again, like I said, a disappointing series for our Atlanta Braves. They just can't seem to beat these guys. They just can't seem to beat them. It's like they're overmatched when it comes to the Padres and even some other teams. The Dodgers as well. It's looking to be like, they can't beat the good teams. It means that you don't have it. You don't got it this year, man. Unfortunately, it is what they have been showing us as of late. You gotta get hot. You gotta get hot. Eventually, you're gonna have to get hot. There's a bunch of teams with winning streaks around the leagues week in and week out, but the Braves, they're not there. They're not there. At least give us a 4-game winning streak. That would be nice. That'll put us right now. That'll put us 2 games over 500. I'm not asking for much. Win 4 or 5 or something like that. That'll put us in a better spot. But if the offense isn't doing anything, it's not gonna happen. But anyways, that was it for Tomahawk Takes, and now we'll head into our next segment.
It's time for the MLB.
It's time for the MLB, where we preview all the action from around the league. Like I had mentioned before, the number one series for me was the New York Mets versus the LA Dodgers. The Dodgers came into Queens trying to win the series from the Mets. This was an NLCS rematch from last year. And the Dodgers, they started off on a good foot, on the right foot, They win the first game after a 13-inning marathon. They won that one 7-5. The Oscar Hernandez RBI double and Andy Pages sacrifice fly in the 13th inning. That secured the win for the Dodgers. But the next day, Saturday, the Mets, they bounced right back. The Amazings with a 5-2 victory. Juan Soto's 2-run double in the 4th inning broke the tie, and David Peterson pitched effectively to earn the win. He absolutely has been killing it. He's on my fantasy team. I picked this guy up, and like I said, he's been killing it, stacking wins, stacking up his points week after week. Game 3 last night, the night game, ESPN night game. New York Mets, they clinched the series win with a 3-1 victory. Pete Alonso, the polar bear, he hits a 2-run homer in the first inning. Kodai Senga, he pitches 5 1/3, allowing only 1 run. And that was it. That's the series W for your New York Mets. And they keep looking good, guys. They keep looking good. But a team that's been looking better than them, the Philadelphia Phillies, they were facing off with the Athletics. They came into the series winning 7 games straight, while the can't say Oakland nowadays. You got to call them the Athletics. They came in losing 9 games in a row, and that was extended after the Phillies won the first 2 games. So that gave the Athletics an 11-game losing streak and the Phillies a 9-game winning streak. The Phillies won the first one 4-3. Trey Turner, he led off the game with a homer. And Zach Wheeler, he extended his scoreless inning streak. Trey Turner had himself a ball. He's my fantasy shortstop, and he got me some points this weekend, the whole week, actually. But Saturday's game, Phillies, they secure a 9-6 victory in 11 innings. It took a little while, but they got it. That Saturday night, Alec Bohm, he went 3 for 5 with a home run and 3 ribbies. Kyle Schwarber, he hits a 2-run homer. We're going to talk about him a little bit later on the Braves forecast. And then Sunday's game, the Athletics, they snapped that streak. Like I said, they win the game 5-4. Miguel Andujar, he gets a 2-run double in the 8th inning that proved to be decisive. Next, we had the Detroit Tigers versus the Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians win the first game on Thursday, 7-0. Tanner Bybee, he tosses 7 scoreless innings. Saturday's game, the Guardians, they end up winning this one as well, 3-1. Slade Ciccone, he pitched effectively, allowing 1 run over 6 innings. Pretty good start from him. Saturday's game, Cleveland, they secure this one as well. 7-5 win in 10 innings thanks to a 4-run top of the 10th. And then the Tigers, they scored 2 in the bottom half, but it was not enough. But Sunday's game, we had a Maddox. We might stop calling these Maddoxes now. We might have to call it a Tarek Skubal because the Tigers, they avoid the sweep with a 5-0 shutout. Tarek Skubal, he pitches a complete game, allowing 2 hits and striking out 13. He did that in 94 pitches and 72 of those strikes. So he won up a Maddox. He was absolutely phenomenal. And Zach McKinstry helped them out, hitting a 2-run homer in the 4th inning. So again, the Tigers, they avoid the sweep, but the Guardians, they win that series 3-1. Next, we go to the AL East. Baltimore Orioles versus the Boston Red Sox at Fenway. Thursday's game, like I had mentioned, that got postponed. They're supposed to have a doubleheader, I believe, on Friday, but I think one of those got rained out. So they ended up doing the doubleheader on Saturday. But going to Friday's game, that was a blowout. The Red Sox, they beat up the Orioles 19-5, highlighted by a 13-run 8th inning of shellacking. Rafael Devers Garita, he went 4 for 6 with 8 RBIs. He hits one out the pack. Actually, he hit 2 off the pack. 3-run homer in the 6th inning and a grand slam in the 8th inning. That was off position player Emmanuel Rivera, but it still counts. You got to give him the RBIs. Like I said again, 8 ribbies for Devers. Phenomenal game. And the doubleheader the next day, Boston, they won the first game 6-5 in 10 innings with a walk-off single by who? Rafi Devers. He came back. He wins that one. Pack is going crazy. And then Baltimore Orioles, they win the second game 2-1. And to finalize this series, the Orioles, they secure a split in the series with a 5-1 victory. Ryan O'Hearn, he goes 3 for 3 with a homer in the 6th, leading the offense. That was a good series. We're going to go to the Central now, the NL Central, the Cubs versus the Reds. The Cubs, they rallied from a 4-0 deficit to defeat the Reds 13-6. PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, he led the charge with 2 homers, a double, and 6 ribbies, including a decisive 7th inning grand slam, grand salami. Get your bread, get your mango, your plátanos, because he had some salami with him. And Seiya Suzuki, he contributed with 3 hits, including a homer and a double, driving in 3 runs. The second game of the series, the Reds, they respond. They say, you got something for us? We got something for you. They win this game 6-4. Eddie De La Cruz, he hits a first inning homer and tallied 4 ribbies in this one. Cubs starter Colin Rea, he struggled a little bit. He allowed 6 runs over 5 innings. JT, not Justin Timberlake, Justin Turner, and Carson Kelly, they each homer for the Chicago Cubs. They end up losing this one despite those efforts. And then the last game of the series, the Cubs, they secure an 11-8 win. Reese McGuire, in his Cubs debut, he homered twice. Seiya Suzuki added a 3-run homer in the 8th inning to seal a comeback. Cubs still playing good ball. That's good to see from them. And then we had the New York Yankees at the Rockies in Colorado. We thought it was going to be fireworks from the start, but it wasn't. The Rockies, they upset the Yankees 3-2 in the first game, but the Yankees, they bounced back with a dominant 13-1 win, highlighted by a 10-run 5th inning. And then Sunday's game, the Yankees, they clinched the series win. Not a surprise. They win this one, but it was a close one, 5-4. Aaron Judge, he had 2 hits, including a tie-breaking double in the 5th inning. That was it for that series. Next, we had the San Francisco Giants at the Washington Nationals. The Giants, they sweep the Nationals, and they hold them only to 2 runs scored in the series. So pretty much lights out for them. Robbie Ray, he's now a perfect 7-0. 7-0. Nothing with a 2.56 ERA. Have yourself a season, my friend. He's going to the All-Star game. Next, we had the Milwaukee Brewers at the Pittsburgh Pirates. They split this one 2-2. Pirates winning the middle games. So obviously that means Brewers won the first and the last game. You got me? Anyways, Toronto at the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays, they sweep the Toronto Blue Jays and ended up Sunday with a 5-game winning streak. And guess what? It's now at 6 because they won last night. We're going to preview those games later on. We'll probably talk about those on Thursday. But yeah, they're the hottest team right now after sweeping the Blue Jays and winning their game last night. 6-game winning streak for them. Seattle at the Houston Astros. The Astros, they win 3 out of 4 games thanks to a Christian Walker walk-off 2-run homer, which won the game for them 5-3. That was Sunday's game. And the Astros, they're getting closer to the Mariners in the AL West. Next, we had the Kansas City Royals at the Minnesota Twins. The Royals, they win the final game on Sunday 2-1. But the Twins, they win the first 2 games and they secure the series. Texas Rangers at the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox, they must have started getting mad. They got upset. They were playing with on a mission. They almost end up sweeping the 2023 champs, the Texas Rangers, but they battled back and put up 3 runs in the top of the 9th to salvage the series. Then Arizona at St. Louis. The Cards, your Cards, they sweep the D-backs over the weekend. They've been playing great baseball, and these were some close games as all of them were 1-run ball games. But again, Cardinals, they bring out the brooms to the Diamondbacks. They sweep up those Snakes, and that's it for them. And the final series that we had on the MLB. This is how quick the MLB is quick, guys. It's quick. We had the Miami Marlins at the LA Angels. The Marlins, they win this series against the Angels. They lose the opener, but win the final 2 games. And that, let me take a deep breath, guys. Whew, sheesh. That was the action from the weekend. That's how it went down. We had some series start yesterday. I'm not going to say the scores, but it was the San Francisco Giants at the Tigers. That one started. Boston Red Sox at the Brewers. That started. Rockies at the Cubs. That started. Rockies are looking to get into the double-digit win column. Let's see if that can happen. St. Louis Cardinals are at Baltimore against the Orioles. Toronto Blue Jays at the Texas Rangers. Cincinnati Reds at the Royals. Chicago White Sox at the Mets. The Dodgers at Cleveland. Minnesota Twins at Tampa Bay. Pittsburgh Pirates at Arizona. Miami Marlins at the Padres. The New York Yankees at the LA Angels. So those were the series, the games that started yesterday. And we have some 3 more games that are going to start tonight, or 3 more series that are going to start tonight. That's the Washington Nationals at the Seattle Mariners, the Athletics at Houston in an AL West matchup, and your Atlanta Braves against the Phillies. That is going to be, hopefully it's going to be a good one. Hopefully it's a good one. We'll see about that when we get to the Braves forecast. But before we do that, let's take a look at the standings since it's the beginning of the week. Let's start off in the American League. New York Yankees atop that one, 33-20. They have a comfortable 6-game lead. It's still early, but that's a pretty comfortable lead. The Rays right behind them, 27-26. The Blue Jays, 26-27. They're in third. Boston Red Sox, 27-29, 7.5 games back. And the Baltimore Orioles, 19-34. They're 14 games back. In the AL Central, Detroit Tigers, 35-20. Cleveland Guardians, 29-24. They're 5 games back. Minnesota Twins with the same record as well. Kansas City Royals, 29-26. They're 6 games back. Chicago White Sox, they're there. But I'm not even going to read it because they're finished. AL West, Seattle Mariners atop this one despite losing those games to them. The Astros, they're 29-23. Astros climbing right back, 28-25. They're 1.5 games back. Texas Rangers, 26-29, 4.5 back. LA Angels also 4.5 games back at 25-28. And the Athletics, 23-31, 7 games back. You know, that losing streak was terrible. That dropped them down a whole bunch of spots. But that's just the way it is when it comes to baseball. And here we go to the NL West. The Dodgers atop the NL West, 33-21. The Padres right behind them, 30-22, 2 games back. The San Francisco Giants, 2 games back as well, sitting at 31-23. The D-backs, despite getting swept, they're at 500, 27-27. Only 6 games back. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. And the Rockies down in the basement. We're not even gonna read their record right now. We will celebrate, give them a little shout out if they get to double-digit wins, but until then, let's go to the NL Central. The Cubs, Chicago Cubs, 33-21. The Cardinals, their rivals, right behind them, 30-24, 3 games back. Cincinnati Reds, 27-28, 6.5 games back. The Brewers, same identical record, 6.5 games back. And the Pirates, 19-36, 14.5 games back. And in the last division that we haven't reviewed, yes, the NL East. In the NL East, the best team in baseball right now, the Philadelphia Phillies, they're atop this one, 34-19, 642 winning percentage. The New York Mets right behind them, 33-21. They're 1.5 games back. They've won 3 in a row now. The Atlanta Braves, your Atlanta Braves, 25-27, like we mentioned before, 8.5 games back. You got to start clawing back, and you're going to have a chance to do just that starting tonight. Washington Nationals, they're still trying to play some good baseball. They're on and off. They're 24-29, 10 games back. And the Miami Marlins are 21-31. They're 12.5 games back. That's it for the standings. What a mouthful. And about news around the league, I mean, I only focus on this one. This was Braves related. It was Orlando Arcia after getting released. He has signed with the Colorado Rockies. Talking about the Rockies. I mean, at least he's going to be able to play, start pretty much every game over there, I'm assuming. So he'll be able to get into the action and hopefully, teach some of those young guys how to do it. So that was it for the MLB. And now we'll head into our next segment.
It's time for your Braves forecast.
Now it's time for the Braves forecast, where we preview the upcoming Braves series, and that's a pivotal 3-game set that starts tonight against the division-leading Philadelphia Phillies, the best team in baseball. They're going to be meeting up, clashing at Citizens Bank Park. First pitch is scheduled for tonight at 6:45 p.m. And it's going to be a tough series. Phillies always play us well. I believe we won the first series of the year against them, 2-1. But you're going to have to play some better ball this time to beat these guys. These guys were hot. They won 9 in a row, like I said earlier. They're clicking. They're starting to click. They're on all cylinders right now. And you're going into a park that's, it's too hectic over there, man. The fans will always go crazy at Citizens Bank. So, I mean, the Braves, they haven't caught fire yet, and I don't think they're going to catch fire in this series. I mean, I'll be happy to see them win these 3 games, sweep them, and be 5.5 games back and have some momentum on their side. But honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. I see them winning 1 game, one of these 3 games. That puts them at 26-29. That'll be 3 games under. So that's how I see this series going down. But anyways, probable pitchers for tonight's game, it's supposed to be Spencer Strider making his third start since returning from his injuries. He's 0-2 with a 5.79 ERA. You can't really look at the numbers like that. He's just making his third start since returning from the injuries. But historically, Strider has excelled against the Phillies in regular season play, but he has faced difficulties in postseason encounters, primarily due to the home runs he's allowed in those games. Schwarber, Harper, all these guys, I think even Castellanos, they always get him when it comes to the playoffs. But again, regular season, he's been pretty good against these Phillies. So we'll see how he comes in tonight. For the Phillies, it'll be Ranger Suarez. He's 3-0 with a 3.70 ERA. Suarez of Braves never seem to figure him out. I don't think, compared to other guys, he doesn't throw as hard. Maybe that's the problem they have with. He keeps them off balance, always chasing the sweeper or curveball, whatever you want to call it. every time I'm watching a game against Ranger Suarez, that's exactly what happens. So, I mean, he's been good against the Braves. And Suarez, he's been a consistent performer since returning from injury, maintaining a strong strikeout to walk ratio in his outings. And in his last outing against the Rockies, he pitched 6 and 2/3 scoreless ball. He allowed 6 hits and struck out 6. So, I mean, last time he was out there, he did pretty good. So we'll see if he's able to continue that against our Braves. And we got some key players to watch for the Phillies. Kyle Schwarber, he leads the team with 18 homers. I believe he's just one back behind Ohtani for first place. But anyways, he has 18 homers, 40 RBIs. He's batting .257 on the season. Trey Turner, he's batting .310 with a .365 on base percentage. He's always a consistent threat at the plate. And if he gets on base, you know he's going to steal the next bag. If you walk him, he gets an infield hit, you know he's going to steal second. He's going to be a threat every single time he's on the base paths. And, of course, Bryce Harper, he's always been a key contributor to the Phillies offense. He's starting to hit, and he will be one player to watch against Spencer Strider. And also, if it gets to a late game situation where Raisel Iglesias comes up against Harper, Harper absolutely crushes him. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but just believe me, he absolutely crushes Raisel Iglesias. So if we see Iglesias coming out to face Harper, that's going to be a problem. Just keep that in mind for this series. But for the Braves, we're going to keep an eye on Matt Olson. He leads the Braves with 12 home runs, 29 RBIs, and he has a 238 average against Suarez. Excuse me. Austin Riley, he's moved back in the second spot in the batting order. I forgot to mention the 2 games over the weekend. Drake Baldwin was put in to start at catcher, and he was hitting in the 2-hole. That was nice to see, to switch it up. I would also like to put Nick Allen batting 8th instead of 9th and put Harris at the 9th spot. Like that, you can have Michael Harris and then Acuna come right after him. But anyways, that's a discussion for another time. But anyways, the lineup is out. Riley will be batting second again. He has a .272 average with 8 home runs and 28 RBIs against Ranger Suarez, and of course, La Bestia, Ronald Acuna Jr. Since returning to the lineup, he is going to be the guy to watch, especially at the top. He has a .333 average and 2 home runs and 3 RBIs against Ranger Suarez. So, you know what? I'm going to call out and say he's hitting a leadoff homer. He's hitting a leadoff homer. I'm calling it right now, guys. Calling it right now. He's not playing this year, man. We already saw 2 homers in 3 games. He's not out here playing games, man. He's coming out here to do his thing. Hopefully the rest of the offense can pick him up and start hitting and moving the line. So we'll see how this series goes again tonight. First game, first pitch, 6:45 p.m. at Citizens Bank Park. So anyways, that was it for today's episode. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks for continuing to follow on Instagram at the Chop Seat Pod and on YouTube at the Chop Seat. So thank you again. Appreciate everyone streaming the show, sharing the show. I really, really, really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great night. Hope your teams win tonight. And we will talk to you on Thursday night. See you.